Hafere Tatlu. Thank you again. Thanks to everyone for being here this afternoon for this public hearing for the confirmation of Leilani R. Flores to serve as a member of the Guam Land Use Commission. Notices for this public hearing were disseminated via email to all senators and all main media broadcasting outlets on March 20 and March 26, 2019. The notice was also published in the Guam Daily Post on March 21 and March 26, 2019. I'd like to thank my colleagues, Senator Sabina Perez and Senator James Moylan, for being here with us this afternoon. I also like to thank all of you for being here. And we are going, before we ask for testimony, I would just like to read some of the statutes regarding the Guam Land Use Commission, or I'll paraphrase them as quickly as I can. So the commission is composed of 5 members to be appointed by the governor with the advice and consent of the legislature for a period of 5 years. Of the 5 members, 1 shall serve for a term of 1 year, 2 for terms of 3 years, and the remaining 2 for terms of 5 years each. Quorum shall require the presence of 3 members. So they currently have a quorum, but it's very tight. That's all they've got. So that's why this confirmation hearing is very important today. The responsibilities of the Guam Land Use Commission include the simplified include zoning and variance applications and appeals involving administration enforcement of those regulatory functions of the Guam Land Use Commission. I'm now going to invite I want to thank those who signed up in support of the nominee, and I'd like to invite those who have agreed to submit oral testimony today to please come on up. And first, the nominee, Leilani Flores, if you could come have a seat maybe in the middle. And then Marvin Dodge and Carlos Camacho. And so for the record, I'd like to thank Mr. William Flores, Francis Flores, JG, Mr. Ronald Pangilinan, Andrew Ashburn, Longzi Sun, Ignacio Santos, and Christina Flores for their support of the nominee.
Tired. Thank you.
Oh, I'd like to also acknowledge the presence of Speaker Tina Munoz-Barnes. Thank you, Speaker. All right, Ms. Flores, please begin. Just press that, yeah, thank you.
Hi, Senators and Speaker. Let me introduce myself again. Hi, Senators and Speaker. My name is Leilani Flores. I am a resident of PD, Guam. I've been born and raised on Guam, only leaving to pursue my undergraduate and graduate degrees in Hawaii. Today I'm seated before you to seek your confirmation to become a member of the GLUC board. First and foremost, although this is going to be the first board that I'm going to sit on, I do have affiliations or prior experience with the Small Business Association of Guam, the Guam Contractors Association, the floor covering installation contractors associations of America, the American Welding Society, and I think having those affiliations, it will give me some insight into the economic development of our island. The mission of the GLUC is to basically protect our island, its resources, and its beauty. With that said, I understand that the Department of Land Management, the ARC, oversees all the laws governing it, and I will do my best to work alongside with them, the stakeholders, the mayors, and the developers to encourage development that will meet the needs of our island and to protect its beauty.
Thank you very much, Ms. Flores. Mr. Camacho?
Good morning, Senator, Speaker. My name is Carlos Camacho. I am a real estate developer in Guam focusing on affordable housing. I know Leilani Flores for a long time, and I'm very happy that she was requested and asked to sit in the Guam Land Use Commission. It's great that we need a fresh look from somebody outside coming back in. We need someone with that diverse experience, as she explained, where she's been a member of the Guam Contractors Association, the Guam Welders Association, and the Guam Small Business Development Group. These are good, diverse industry where she will understand market needs and wants. Most importantly, when I spoke to Mrs. Flores, one of the things that, as she stated, she's first time sitting on a government board, but she realizes the resources and assets that is available to her for her to make the proper decision. She had discussed with me on one of our discussion when she's taking this stuff is land management's role on the planning side, as Senator Terlaje described, the governing zoning laws, the variances, and anything a developer applicant comes in to request to meet those conditions. Anytime something goes to the Land Use Commission, it's these planners that will write up the statements, either to conformity or to change of variance, or anything that's requested within the spirit of the law of Guam. It's these statements and all that through these professionals that's been sitting in that agency for a long time that will guide the Land Use Commission members, assuming they conform to the laws and the zoning of that particular request. Most importantly, she also mentioned is the relationship of the Application Review Committee. These are the key agencies that will make a position statement on any development. As we've seen in the past, many developments will go in, even though the zonings are correct, but they'll go in and ask for different variances to increase the density. But most importantly is the impact to that community. And this is why you, the body, has changed it to a hybrid legislation where now the 5 members, as the Senator described, adds on now 4 other mayor members, whichever village is affected, so that they are involved in the process of making their statement for or against a development. But as Leilani described to me on the importance of the ARC, these are stakeholders, and 3 important stakeholders, and that is power, water, and environment, and agriculture. Most importantly, if anybody's going to do development, I was just letting her know some of my development, we always do a water pressure test or a sewer impact test. At the end of the day, we want to make sure we don't pull away from that community we're developing. And if we do, then conditions will be placed that we increase the pump station, for example, or we increase the sewer or water line that will be impacted in that neighborhood. These are key things that, as we discussed with her, what ARC would do in their position statement. And I'm glad that she will leverage those resources so that she can make a fine decision when an application is before the Land Use Commission. By just saying those 2 acronyms, DLM planners and ARC overall government position statement, I feel comfortable that she will make a great new member of the Land Use Commission, and she likes a lot of reading, so I told her there'll be a lot of position statements read for or against, or conditions placed to these developments. So she would be great to make a great new face in this membership. So I here support her nomination to be confirmed in the Land Use Commission. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Camacho. Mr. Dodge?
Good afternoon, Senators. I'm Marvin Michael Dodge. You would know me as Mike Dodge. I grew up on Guam since arriving in 1948. I'm a Naval Academy graduate and a Father Duenas graduate and a retired naval officer and a retired businessman. I've known Lonnie all her life. I grew up with her father. I find just observing Lonnie in her businesswoman days, and that's the last 15 years, very no-nonsense, a term we use in the Navy, forehanded. She looks ahead, and she's tight with money, and we would like that. Very educated, as an MBA, and no nonsense, as I said. Mine is very short, I suppose. I believe that she will be a positive addition to the Land Use Commission and will protect all of our rights in land use and basically carry out the mission of the commission. And I thank you. Sijus Masi.
Sijus Masi. Is there anyone else who would like to give testimony this morning, this afternoon? If not, then we're going to open it up for questions from our panel up here, if that's okay. And so first, Ms. Flores, I want to tell you thank you very much. It's a tough job that you've been asked to do, and it's going to require a big commitment. So I'm thanking you in advance for that commitment. And
thank you too. And
the hard work.
Thank you for the nomination. Thank you to the governor and the lieutenant governor for the nomination.
Right. We are, as you know, the Guam Land Use Commission is really it's the entity that is between a developer and our environment and everything else. So although you're going to have the Agency Review Commission to help you and to give their input, the decision is really going to be on the Land Use Commission members.
Yes.
And we've seen it, you know, for years, always. It's always really been. There's a tension, of course, because between development and protection, that will always exist, and I think it's set up like that. And you're going to have to weigh, you know, the community's interests, mayors, the other members of the commission. I'm hoping you're going to be able to stand your ground. And despite how they've been doing things before you were there, that now you're there, and you're going to ensure that you understand and don't let things move until you do.
Yes, I will.
There's been a lot of pressure on the Land Use Commission in recent years because of just natural pressure from developers.
Yes.
And there was one incident or several where they ignored the advice of the Attorney General, and later the Attorney General deemed their actions void or against the law. But I'm hoping that, we can resolve those items, that if there is any doubt or we're getting advice that there might be any questions, that we can resolve those before action, hopefully.
Yes, I understand.
And I want to ask you, just for the record then, and it looks from your experience and your education, you've got your business admin degree and your master's, your MBA, about 13 years ago.
Yes, a long time ago.
That you're going to be able to handle the job, but can you tell us for the record whether you have any conflicts in your current business or associations that might impede your ability to be fair and
No, I don't.
in this process?
No.
All right. Well, thank you. I'm going to open the panel to the speaker.
Sijus Masi, Madam Chair, thank you for giving me the opportunity to rise and speak in support of the nominee, and I want to thank you for bringing your family here. I do have family members and also here to support your efforts, and I just want to say that as I see a fresh perspective coming in, I do want to thank the governor and lieutenant governor, but more importantly, the position that you're being placed with as it deals with our lands and our community. I know that you will be doing your very, very best. And as I see the two gentlemen that sit both to your right and to your left, I want to say that they have a lot of experience as it relates to the lands and things that come our way. And I used to say that Mr. Camacho has always been the housing guru, and of course Mr. Dodge has been here for many, many, many decades. But volunteering and stepping up to the plate is very admirable, and I only want to say that you will have my support, and just seeing the younger generation come up to take their stand, to want to make a difference for our community is greatly admired. So you got my support, and I want to thank your family for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair, for giving me the opportunity to comment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Senator Perez?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to thank you for also being here and providing testimony. It's nice to reconnect to the family.
Yeah.
So you were mentioning in your testimony that you have an interest in preserving the beauty of our island,
Yes,
and I was wondering, can you explain a little bit more what you meant by that?
I would just like, if there's any new developments coming up, I would like to save, I guess, to save what we have and to use it the best we can without damaging it, without losing it.
Thank you. So how would you balance that with, let's say, development interest?
With what?
In your experience, in your schooling, how would you balance, protecting the beauty with developers that want to build on say...
I would suggest more, the use of more LEED buildings, like if they're going to build more buildings, like use the LEED for the natural resources and stuff. That helps our island.
All right. Okay, thank you.
Senator Moylan.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Mrs. Flores, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, and what a tough board to be on. So, what I
will do my best.
You will, you will. But what I can see on your character is usually based on the people you surround yourself with. So with a commander and Mr. Camacho over there, a treasurer, I think you got great advice and you have a great team there to support you. I'm also looking forward to, as you go on with being on the board, if there are things that the legislature can assist you with some laws that need to be adjusted or updated, please feel free to contact us and justify it, and we'll be happy to expedite the things for the betterment of our island. So congratulations, you have my full support.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator. I wanted to ask you one more question.
Yes.
It's just from, again, recent issues that have come up with the Land Use Commission. A lot of times the Land Use Commission approves projects based on conditions. So they put conditions on the projects, and that's how they meet. For example, coastal management says this might impact our coastal resources, or GWA says straight out there's not enough water pressure in this area at this time. They're going to have to add an additional improvement to get the water pressure up. And so I've seen the Land Use Commission approve the project nevertheless, and put the condition that they put the improvement on.
Yes.
And I guess I want to just ask you to please take a very close look at the imposition of conditions and the ability to enforce those.
Yes, I will.
So we've seen some projects kind of go back and forth. Years later, they're asking for another variance, and that's when the commission will say, well, what happened, with the first conditions we put on, we haven't seen action on those. Mm-hmm. And I'm very concerned about that. So I think if they're not going to be enforced at the building permit, and you cannot see another place where they're going to be enforced, then you should require them before you make the approval, if that's possible. And I think that we should start requiring that to be, how they do it, instead of this condition that's not enforceable. Mm-hmm. But please, if just you could take a look at it. And again, I just want to say whatever help you need, we're here to help you. It is a tough commission because it does a lot of work. They meet very often when they, can get a quorum. So quorum's so important. You're going to be dedicating time away from your business to this. And I know that they do a very excellent job of publishing their agendas in the paper. So I know from those publications that their agendas are full. You're going to be required to do homework, I'm sure, before you get there, because they've got full agendas with very technical things to review and approve. And but they have a good staff up there, so they'll be able to help you out. But so again, I want to thank you for agreeing to serve. Is there any other questions from the panel? And if not, I just want to thank you all again for being here today and for the testimony especially. So we will
adjourn this meeting, but we will continue to accept written testimony until April 11. You may submit testimonies to my office directly at the Ada Plaza Center, Suite 207, 173 Espinal Avenue, Hagatna 96910, or to the mailroom here at the Guam Legislature in the Congress Building, or through email at senatorterlajeguam@gmail.com. We will adjourn our meeting now. It is about 12:50. Si Diyos maasi.